Okay, so Money in the Bank 2024 just wrapped up. It was a very early show. Started at 6 o'clock, my time, and after that, after a 2-hour kickoff show with no matches on it again. Why? Money in the Bank does not necessitate a 2-hour kickoff show. WrestleMania, I can understand. SummerSlam, yeah, Money in the Bank's not that big a show. It really does not warrant it. Anyway, we started off the show with the men's Money in the Bank match. Drew McIntyre versus Chad Gable versus Carmelo Hayes versus Jey Uso versus Andrade versus LA Knight. Right off the bat, McIntyre hit a Glasgow kiss to Andrade. But right after that, Uso and Knight clotheslined McIntyre out of the ring. McIntyre came back, hit Andrade with a spinebuster into the ring barricade. Gable put McIntyre, used the ladder to put into a armbar. Basically, they were fighting, and McIntyre was mostly up the ladder. Gable got him, kind of put him into a triangle armbar hold on the ladder to delay him. Andrade then broke that up with a springboard guillotine leg drop against the ladder. Knight hit a jumping neckbreaker on Gable on a setup ladder that was on its side. McIntyre came in and hit a power bomb on Gable into a ladder that was set up in the corner. Knight and Uso attacked McIntyre, both hitting their finishers on him. No tables were set up outside the ring. However, there was a big ladder bridge that was set up, and there was a ladder bridge from the ring to the announce table, and then there was another bridge from the ring ropes to the ladder in the center of the ring. Andrade and Carmelo were fighting on top of it. I believe it was Gable tripped, or was it? Okay, no, LA Knight kind of tried to flip Andrade over it, and that set up a sunset bomb into the bridge ladder from the ring to the apron. However, Gable got in the ring and hit LA Knight with a belly-to-belly suplex that sent him out of the ring onto the bridge between the ring and the announce table. And looked like Gable was about to get up there. He got his hand right up on the briefcase. The Wyatts did not interfere. Jey Uso got in. He tipped over the ladder to get it away from Gable. Jey Uso started climbing, and looked, just as he was about to get his hands on the briefcase, McIntyre launched a ladder into Jey Uso, knocking him off. That enabled Drew McIntyre to climb the ladder and grab the briefcase, which did beg the interesting question as to whether or not we would be getting a cash-in tonight. How would this affect the main event of SummerSlam with Walter? Or how does this affect anything with CM Punk, since rumor has it that Punk is still not medically cleared to actually do much of anything. But you're never entirely sure. Overall, entertaining match. Definitely good use of the high spots of the ladder. I'm okay with Drew winning. Like I said, we'll get to what happens a little bit later. But it did present several questions, and how they did it was, how they handled it was pretty nice. Okay, our next match is the Intercontinental Championship match between Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker. Right off the bat, Breaker hit a belly-to-belly suplex on Zayn. Zayn came back, hit a moonsault to the outside of the ring. Breaker then hit the Steiner line and then followed up with another belly-to-belly. Zayn hit his tightrope DDT, tornado DDT. Zayn countered a power slam on the outside of the ring by shoving Breaker into the ring post. Zayn then went for something I don't think he's hit in a long time, which is flying DDT through the corner ropes. But Breaker caught him with a flying clothesline, and Zayn fought out of a press slam, hit his exploder suplex into the corner. Breaker came back, countered the haluva kick with a spear. He then hit a press slam right after that. He went for another spear, but that enabled Zayn to hit a quick haluva kick and get the 3 count for the victory. Overall, in an entertaining match. Kind of surprising. I really thought that Breaker was going to win this. I think all the signs were pointing to that happening, and because, well, Sammy was a nice story, it's like, I don't know if they could really tell much more after his feud with Gable ended. But I guess not. I mean, I guess I can stretch this out until SummerSlam. But yeah, I do think Breaker's probably going to be the one to beat Zayn. Don't know if he's going to cheat necessarily to do it, or something else is going to happen. Maybe he teams up with Chad Gable. That could certainly be interesting. But again, kind of surprising, but okay. I mean, I guess they could stretch this out another month. Okay, and then in between matches, Trish Stratus, who's the hostess of Money in the Bank, comes out. She talks about all the stuff that's happened in the arena, in the Social Bank Arena for her. You know, obviously her career ended there. She faced Charlotte Flair in a SummerSlam match there. She had a surprise mixed tag match with the next person out, and it's John Cena who comes out and he shows off his towel. However, in this case, it's no longer the "My Time Is Now" towel. It's the I see I wrote it right here, "Last Time Is Now" towel. And that is because he's there to announce that he is officially retiring from in-ring competition. He's going to take another break. He's going to come back in January for when Raw moves to Netflix. He'll be at the Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, and then the end of the road will be at WrestleMania. And that's where his final match will be. So, yep, truly the end of an era. Say what you will, it's definitely been maybe the most defining era of WWE ever, really. I mean, if you think about it, you know, the Attitude Era was 4 years. You know, Hulkamania was, yeah, again, about that. I mean, if you really want to count, he won the championship in 1984 and then held it. Yeah, that was the dominant force in there till 1990. That's 6 years. Obviously, New Generation was much, much shorter than that. If you want to say Bret Hart was the face of that, that was, again, about 5 years. If you want to go from 92 to, yeah, so. But, you know, Cena really just about 15 to 20 years, really. If you think about it, he debuted in 2002. You know, he developed the rapping gimmick in late 2002, early 2003. You know, won the United States Championship in 2004, won the the WWE Championship in 2005. You know, that was 19 years ago. And then if you want to say his full-time stuff basically wound down in 2016. So that's, like I said, that's 11 years, and if he's still putting on stuff. He was still competing in major storylines for several aspects. So up until 2020, and that was when it really started to slow down. So yeah, you're talking almost 2 decades of still really being the face, even when they tried to put forth new faces, and still doing his Make-A-Wish stuff, still doing movies, doing reality shows, all that stuff, and even when fans wanted to turn him heel, he was still raking in dough like nobody's business. He was still a draw. I guess that's about all I can really say. Like I said, it's going to be weird to just think that, even though, like I said, he hasn't really done anything the last few years, it's still going to be super weird to think of WWE without John Cena in it. So, obviously, he's given us time to get to adjust, but, maybe we've been adjusting for a while now. Okay, our next match was the World Heavyweight Championship match between Damian Priest and Seth freaking Rollins. Before the match, they had a little backstage vignette where Damian Priest told the Judgment Day that even if Drew McIntyre tries to cash in the night, do not interfere no matter what. He has to try to beat them on. He'll have to try to beat both of them on the Rollins and McIntyre if the need arises on their own. And this left a very miffed-looking Finn Balor in the ring. Right off the bat, after the ring bell, Rollins went for a pedigree. Priest came back at his Falcon Arrow. Rollins came back at his Sling Blade, clothesline Priest out of the ring. Started to go for his torpes, but then started looking up the entryway, expecting McIntyre to cash in at some point. Priest hit a couple of maneuvers, hit a big clothesline, also started looking up the entryway. Then enabled Rollins to come back, hit a running knee, followed by a frog splash, but again, kept looking up the entryway. Priest hit a power bomb after Rollins had hit a buckle bomb on him. Priest countered a super kick with a kick to Rollins' surgically repaired knee. Rollins countered a choke slam into kind of the stomp. He didn't quite get the full elevation on it that he normally does. Priest came back, hit a Razor's Edge. Rollins hit his superplex Falcon Arrow thing. Like first he hit the superplex, but then when he was going up for the Falcon Arrow, Priest countered that into a Falcon Arrow position, but then he countered that into the Falcon Arrow. And the ref only counted it too, and it looked like Priest did not get his shoulder up. A lot of people were kind of confused. It's like, even the announcers were like, wait, it didn't look like Priest got his shoulder up. At this point, McIntyre's music hits. He charges down to the ring, announces he's cashing in his Money in the Bank, so now it's a triple threat. It's no DQ to keep that in mind. He comes in, Priest is rolled out of the ring at this point. He hits a Claymore on Rollins, but he hits a Future Shock DDT on Rollins. He went for the Claymore. Priest interfered. He basically took the Claymore, but Priest recovered, threw Rollins out of the ring. Priest went for the South of Heaven. McIntyre fought out of it. Looked like he was going for another Claymore. However, at this point, CM Punk hit the ring. Seemingly out of nowhere, like no one noticed he had been under the ring the entire match. There's been a few shots on social media that Punk was under the ring. He gets in, he interferes. It's no DQ now, so he can do that. They fight into the timekeeper's area. He chokes McIntyre. He attacks him with a chair. He gets McIntyre back in the ring. He grabs the championship belt off the stand that it sits on. He hits McIntyre with the belt. That enables Priest to hit the South of Heaven chokeslam and pin McIntyre for the 3 count of the victory. So McIntyre cashed in, and it failed. And as this is happening, Rollins is miffed because Punk interfered, and now Rollins cannot challenge for the championship again until Priest in all likelihood drops it to Walter at SummerSlam. And Priest is miffed because Punk interfered, because again he kind of wanted to do this on his own. But yeah, this was very entertaining, but I still have some problems with it. The main problem being just the end of the match. Like I said, Rollins gets thrown out of the ring and then just kind of does nothing. It just sits there. Maybe he needed to get back in the ring. Have Priest take him down or something. Just a quick super kick or something. Maybe not a super kick. I don't think Priest has thrown that. But some type of maneuver for Priest to incapacitate him again. And then Priest get the South of Heaven on McIntyre. Just something would have gotten him more involved. Instead, it just looks like Seth decided he wanted to take a nap and missed something. And so, yeah, it kind of fell apart in that little aspect. Other than that, it was a very fun match. I did like the cash. I do like the idea of Drew cashing in and not winning. Because, again, now you could set up the future feud with CM Punk, but then have McIntyre still lurking as a possible challenger later on, if that may be. Okay, our next match is the Women's Money in the Bank match. Zoe Stark versus Naomi versus Io Sky versus Chelsea Green versus Tiffany Stratton versus Lyra Valkyria. And we know there's not going to be a women's cash-in tonight because none of the women's champions are in the building. So, at least we won't have to worry about that. Anyway, right off the bat, everyone but Chelsea Green tries to go for a ladder. There was some of the idea that Green is afraid of heights, so she doesn't want to climb a ladder. She tries jumping up to get the briefcase. She tries grabbing a ladder from Io Sky and then using it to just knock the briefcase down. Neither of which works, so she finally decides to try to set it up. Eventually, she gets tossed out of the ring. Sky drop kicks the ladder into Tiffany Stratton. Lyra Valkyria hits a tornado DDT and suplex. Stark hits Valkyria with a missile drop kick. Stark hits Valkyria again with a small drop on a ladder. It looked like Valkyria landed weird and banged her elbow on the corner of the ladder. Zoe Stark then did another move. I think it was I don't know if it was a headbutt or a moonsault or something. But she hit the ladder and she knocked herself silly. So off the bat, we had some really high impact stuff. Tiffany Stratton came in, hit Naomi with an Alabama slam on the ladder. Green eventually did start climbing the ladder. She got hit by Sky throwing a ladder at her. Eventually, Valkyria hits Sky with a German suplex off the ladder. Naomi hit a DDT off the ladder. As this happened on the outside, Tiffany Stratton and Chelsea Green elected to work together. They sat at a couple tables. They seemed to take out Naomi. Stark powerbomb Valkyria off a ladder onto a ladder bridge. As this happens, they were Green hit Naomi with the Unprettier on another ladder bridge. Another ladder bridge got set up, and Zoe Stark and Io Sky were fighting on top of the ladder. Stark had her hands on the briefcase just briefly, but Io grabbed her and counted it into a Michinoku driver off the ladder onto the ladder bridge. This set everything up for Chelsea Green to eventually start climbing the ladder. However, Tiffany Stratton got into the ring, and just as Chelsea seemed to, unconnect the canoper to unhook the briefcase, Stratton came in, shoved Green enough to fall off the ladder and go through the table, mimicking the Women's King of the Mountain match from TNA. Was it Bound for Glory? Yeah, it was Bound for Glory, I think, in 2022, where Deonna Purrazzo and Chelsea Green fell off the ladder through the tables. And then enabled Tiffany Stratton to grab the briefcase to win the Money in the Bank. Again, not really a surprise here, but the only real surprise I think was that this match was not the main event of the show, which, to be honest, I really think it should have been. I'll get to that when we get to the main event, but like I said, overall, very entertaining match. Way more entertaining than the men's, I think. Not as many slow points here. The women really did put out a lot of interesting pieces with the ladder again. Surprising there aren't a lot of injuries in this, because they did some high-impact maneuvers. Like, even Michael Cole and Corey Graves were kind of speechless at some point at some of the stuff that was being done. So yeah, they really did elevate the ladder match to a new level in this. Overall, it was definitely match of the night. And that leads us into our main event, the six-man tag team match between Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton versus the bloodline of Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and the newly arrived Jacob Fatu. Right off the bat, Owens stared down the bloodline during the opening bit of the match. Sikoa immediately started the match, but then immediately tagged in Tama Tonga. They fought for a little bit. Owens definitely fought like hell, given his situation with his mother. But Tama Tonga came back in a thumb to the eye, tagged in Jacob Fatu. Orton had tagged in at this point, tried to go for a hangman, hit the hangman DDT. Fatu completely no-sold it, got up, and when Orton was going for his RKO pose where he whips down to the mat, he suddenly looks up and realizes that Fatu is still standing, and Fatu hits him with a Samoan drop. Owens did fight back in. He went for a swanton. Fatu broke that up. Tonga Loa interfered and tripped Owens up against the ropes, enabling, I believe it was Fatu, to kick Owens in the head. Fatu and Solo hit the Umaga charge into the corner on Owens. Owens did try to go for a hot tag to Orton, but Tonga Loa pulled Orton off of the ring. I believe Solo had taken Cody out at that point. Eventually, though, Rhodes did get the hot tag. He squared off with Solo Sikoa for a little bit. Fatu interfered, broke up. No, wait, sorry, I'm getting ahead of the match here. Fatu managed to blindside Cody on the outside of the ring, but he ended up getting flipped into the timekeeper area. As this happens, they got back into the ring. Solo went for a clothesline and inadvertently took out the ref. This enabled Rhodes, Orton, and Owens to gang up on Solo. They each had their finishers on him. They went for a triple powerbomb on the outside of the ring. This is where Jacob Fatu interfered again, and in the process wound up sandwiching the ref into the ring steps. Owens came back, hit Jacob Fatu with a frog splash off the ring barricade through the announce table. Tonga Loa came in and low-blowed Kevin Owens, who was about to hit his cradle pile driver on Tama Tonga. Well, he low-blowed Owens twice, because the first one he didn't quite hit it right, and it looked more like he was trying to wipe Owens' rear end. But anyway, Tonga, but both the Tongans got hit with RKOs. Rhodes came in, tried to go for his Crossroads trio, but then Fatu interfered, hit a Whisper in the Wind and an Impaler DDT. And then he and Solo, he set Cody up for the Samoan Spike from Solo to get the 3 count of the victory. So Solo now has momentum going to his championship match at SummerSlam against Cody, which they've already announced. Overall, like I said, not a terrible match. It was very slow in the beginning. And the crowd was a little gassed. This is why I really wish they had switched places. I think if they had switched places, you know, the crowd would be red hot through that whole women's championship match. Or not the championship, the Money in the Bank match. You know, there just wasn't quite the interest from the crowd. Like I said, it was very slow. It built up, and I don't mind doing that in a match sometimes, but there was a lot of, okay, they're beating on Owens, but they're not really doing much in the way of actual effectiveness. It's like, do something big. You know, you can do a couple little things, but then do something big to make it look like you've taken them out. And they didn't quite do that. They just kept doing little things over and over and over again. And that just kind of bogged the match down in my book. And again, that's kind of why I don't feel like it should have been in the main event. Still, though, as I said, the result really does make sense. It helps Solo get some momentum behind him in this new tribal chief role that he's in. You know, they're saying like he's changed a lot. He's not just the enforcer. He's not just the muscle. He's not just the I'm going to attack you guy. He's now much colder, much more calculating. You know, he really does kind of present himself more as a tribal chief in this scenario. So, yeah, it does build some momentum, like I said, going into his championship match at SummerSlam. Now, how that's going to play out, I'm not sure. Obviously, they're doing Bad Blood in October, but I don't know if that's going to be Cody and Solo, or obviously eventually Randy Orton has to turn on Cody so we can get that match out of the way too. So, like I said, I can't say for certain what's going to happen out of that, but it does leave some interesting ideas. Now, as for the show overall very good show. Not terrible in the slightest by any stretch of the imagination. Again, that main event was a little slow. That did drag it down a little bit, but like I said, overall really good, really fun. Good fun moments. Crowd was into it. Definitely helped a lot. Made through a lot of the stuff. Like I said, just little odd bits. Like, again, I would point back to the World Championship match and the missed possible 3 count on Damian Priest, or the missed shoulder that got up. Because again, it seemed like no one in the ring saw it. Exactly. And the ref just counted to 2 because he knew he was supposed to count to 2 in that scenario. So yeah, that's probably one of the few things that brought the show down a little bit. Like, I'm not upset that Sami Zayn won, but like I said, you could stretch this feud out another month, it would be okay. So yeah, again, overall, very enjoyable. I am going to give this a B. I don't know if I can quite go into A, just again because that main event, I think, did knock it down just a little too much in my opinion. It was like I said, way too slow and plotting. If you just flipped those around and put the women's Money in the Bank match last, I would have probably given the show an A, actually, because I think that would have picked up from how slow that match was. So yeah, again, like, we were on highs, and that's like, oh wait, I'm coming down a little bit, and I shouldn't be doing that. Like, I should be ending the show on a high to get the A, and I didn't quite, like I said, I didn't get that. So yeah, that's why Money in the Bank 2024 gets a B. Okay, so the next video is going to be the recap and review for NXT Heatwave. This should be up. Well, it'll still be Saturday here, possibly, depending on how big the file renders as. Anyway, like I said, it should still technically be Saturday here, but if it's not, this will be up Sunday. The NXT Heatwave review will be up on Monday. After that, I am not sure yet. It could be another wrestling thing. It could be, a Madden thing, because I need to kind of go over what we're going to be doing. As of right now, I still can't technically do College Football 2025. That being said, we'll get into that when I get into that. But yeah, so yeah, I'm not quite sure what the next video will be after that. But after that one, it will be It'll be the Random Trade review on Hockey Apocalypse Volume 2. Wrestling-wise, obviously the next show after a heat wave is SummerSlam in the beginning of August. I did think about doing Ring of Honor or Death Before Dishonor. That's later this month, but I think I might wait. I will do one Ring of Honor or AEW show. I will probably... I mean, Ring of Honor's next show is in March. After this one, I think. I can't remember. Is it March or November? But, yeah, AEW, I will try to do All In. If not, it might not be... It'll probably be Full Gear or what's after that. Or what's after All Out. So, you might have to wait for that, for the AEW review on anything like that. Okay, see you all next time.
Hey guys, remember you can help me maintain and possibly even expand my professional wrestling covers by supporting me on Patreon at patreon.com/SleepyTime4Camp Productions. Also, remember to like the video, comment, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell.